It is 9:30 on a Thursday night, and you're tuned in to Beltway Radio and Beyond, which can mean one and only thing. This is Chip Chat. Welcome to Chip Chat, everybody. I'm Chip. Who are you, Tez?
You just told him, buddy.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
This show is 11 years old. Can you believe it?
Kudos to you. 11 years is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
How long have I been around here? What, 4?
I think you're
Or
in
5?
March. I think you'll hit your 5
4?
years.
5 years. Wow, that's
I think
insane.
you'll hit 5. Yeah.
Yeah, this is insane. Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense because I'm just doing this by what jobs I was at. Yeah, the 5. This would make sense.
I'm counting by when the world ended. So the pandemic.
The world ended in the election of 2000.
Right.
That's when I think we'll all at one point say, "Oh, this is when the world ended."
It was the hanging chads.
Hanging chads, man.
Yes, if
That
only
was
we
it.
could go back to hanging chads.
Oh my god! Soon they'll be hanging somebody.
No.
Happy Black History Month.
Yeah, so happy Black History Month. You have Hop Slam.
Yep, Hop Slam.
I am trying to find it near me.
Okay, for the loyal listeners,
I am struggling.
Shout out to Bells. We still don't have a sponsorship, but maybe this time will be different. So if folks are listening to us, they want to go ahead and find a Hop Slam or any of the lovely beers that Bells creates.
This is outrageous. Look, I found a place that has nine Bells products. Not one of them is Hop Slam.
Okay, all right. So maybe only properly in DC you'll be able to find these. But if you go to bellsbeer.com, this is like free promotion, so I swear. And then you click yes, you're 21. So hopefully you'll do that because that's when you should be going to these websites. And then you can go and do a beer finder. There's a beer finder. You go ahead, you put in your address or your zip code, and you can find beers within 1 mile, 5 miles, 10 miles, or up to 100 miles. You can do them either in stores, so you can look if you're looking for a 4-pack, that's the ones I found, or you can look for a bar that has the keg. For everybody in DC, if you want to find these, go to a Yes Market. The first time and probably the last time that Tez will ever recommend for you to go to a Yes Market. It's not something. I might have never been in one. This might be the first time I went in.
You only went because it told you to go there.
It did. Yes, that's the only reason. And I went.
I'm even looking like up by where I work. I can't find it.
So he's no longer even paying attention to the show. He's just looking for.
I am motivated.
He's motivated to find some Hop Slam. So we'll see if this fits in the 10-minute window.
We need Hop Slam.
I
need
Hop. You need Hop Slam. I have Hop Slam.
Yeah, Hop Slam puts the slur in.
Mm-hmm.
And
it adds the slur.
We have tremendous experience with the Hop Slam.
Yes, so much.
And then they go who?
And then they go who? Right. It's so insane. Happy anniversary. This will be a very
anniversary. That's the promo segment of tonight.
Yeah, it's sponsored by Bells.
Sponsored by Bells Hop Slam.
Yes.
The only 10.5 double IPA that tastes like a 4.5 single IPA.
I had a West Coast. I'll find the name of it. I had a West Coast that I think is the West Coast version of Hop Slam. I was very surprised by it. I was like, "Oh, this is actually really really tasty." But yeah, I
got my Mad Elf this year, so that's good. That's a good.
Okay, there we go. That's a good beer.
That's a good. Yeah, that's similarly dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, all these beers are like, again, some of these beers, like, I think, I'm not trying to take out anybody. Like, I used to enjoy Golden Monkeys, but even at the time, it doesn't have the same blend that I would say a Hop Slam has.
Hop Slam is magic stuff.
It is magic. I don't know how they do it.
Absolutely just perfectly gets that groove where it's got everything. Okay.
This was the West Coast, a Russian River.
Oh, I've had that.
Yes, very delicious. Very
Also
delicious.
like the Deschutes fresh squeeze. That's a good one from
All
out
right.
that way.
Well, that's our new show that we our beer show we're gonna do.
We used to do that show.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that is a good point. We
used to have a great show back
yeah.
then. Now we have this. Okay, so it is it is our anniversary. This so February is when the show was born, right? And or whatever started in 2015. And
Wow.
how naive and stupid were we then that we thought we were going to do a funny show about like snacks and fast food trends and whatever silly jokes we could write.
Because clearly the election was gonna go the way it was supposed to. I mean, I guess there was still deep politics there, right? They wouldn't have the Senate hearing, right? I feel like that would have been a huge thing during that time, right? Would that have
Yeah,
been it?
but
Yeah.
we didn't really, the show didn't become as overtly political until the Freddie Gray incident. And then that's when it just was like, all right, we tried to stay out of this for that. And at that point, we had been on for like a year or so. And or maybe it was the fall, I guess, of that year. But anyway, so we were like, all right, we can't really not talk about this. And then every couple weeks, like something else big like that would happen, and then it's like, okay, we didn't want to do this, but now we have to. And then the hits just kept coming, and so we became this show that you know and love now. But anyway, we're excited to still be on. We're glad the network kept us for all those years. and this current network is keeping us for however long they feel like it, which is nice. Yeah. So we're gonna celebrate in a way that feels most traditional for us, which is to make jokes about the news and making fun of Brian for being old and grouchy. He sent me a new video of somebody jumping one of the turnstiles, the new turnstiles.
I know, because I deactivated my Instagram. I'm no longer I'm no longer a receptacle of all of his crazy. I did when I was on No Filter Sports on Sunday, because I made it this time.
Yes.
we were talking through just my absence from social media, and like I could do a whole show where things he sends me, I just react to them and give my commentary on it. I could easily do
that. Might be an interesting show.
I can do an hour where it's like and actually it might even be better now that I haven't that I'm just
you haven't seen any of it, right? So then it's a new segment called Tez Discovers the Internet.
Oh my God. You know what? I think, and this will continue to keep me off Instagram if we do this. You know what? I said my New Year's resolution for the last, how many years have been on the show? 5 years? Every year I said we're going to add something to the show. I think this could be a bit. I do think Brian posts things that he would have normally have sent me. And then, I'll just go ahead and react to them.
So I like that you're finally contributing to the show, and I like that your way of doing that is to have Brian do all the work.
No, I'm going to react. That's the work.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, you're going to react to it.
He's already doing that work.
He's already doing it. Yeah.
Like if I reactivate it and find my history with him, it is littered with things. I can't even keep up with half the things that he sends. It's littered with things that he has sent to me. So I don't know.
He does all the work on this show.
He does all the work.
All right. You hear that, Brian? That's your new assignment. Do Tez's segment for him
tonight. If you have something, feel free to to do it right now. Just play. But anyway, sorry.
All right.
Me. Help me. Nigga.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month. And then obviously before we hit our break to go to the headlines, we do need to say RIP to Jesse Jackson.
Yes.
He was very old, It's not like and this was unexpected or anything. He was fighting a neurodegenerative disease.
Yeah, but I mean, it didn't seem like it was like a heart attack, right? From what I had read, right, it was he died peacefully, right? In a sense.
Oh yeah. This was kind of a foregone conclusion for a couple of years now, but
like the body deteriorated. Like, yeah, right. That's what happens.
Yeah, but his presence is missed, and even when he was, no longer able to be as loud and forceful as he was for most of our lives, of course, even his presence alone was a positive one, generally speaking, and he was known not just for being Jesse Jackson, what we all think of as Jesse Jackson, but also for being funny and cheerful and charming and sort of bringing a lot of light with him wherever he went, and so that's going to be very sorely missed for a lot of people.
I overheard folks talking, and they were just, I wasn't in the conversation, so I mean, again, this is like secondhand, but the gist of it, as I was hearing, was more like a lack of appreciation for what Jesse Jackson kind of meant to our community, and like what he, like, the being, like, you could almost say he was the bridge between like the
and Obama, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's an easy way, I think, for people.
Personally was. I mean, he was there when King got shot, and he was there. He set created the opportunity really for Obama to run at all by running twice himself. But then he was there, pushing Obama into politics and pushing that Southside Chicago, group that, not literally push. That's funny, but like, that he was always a part of that world.
Yeah.
And he is very definitely that bridge. Yeah. I don't think that's really in question. I think Jesse got a lot of phony criticism over the years for being an attention hog or something like that. And I think that's misplaced, of course, because he understood before there was an attention economy, how important that was. And that if you really do want to move things forward, you need to be able to grab that spotlight and get all eyes on the issue. And if that meant going around the world,
people how to be activists, to be honest,
basically, yes. And he also like created this template for, like what we see, black lawyer Crump doing now, like Benjamin Crump doing what he does is direct descendant of the way that Jesse, did what he did. And Al Sharpton, followed Jesse's mold and did all that. So, and like, and you see other people doing it too. You see the white supremacists doing it too, showing up at these places to be like, oh, look, the white people were harmed. It's basically Jesse created this template that everybody now uses and takes for granted. Trump uses it all the time.
Yeah.
So but anyway, Jesse Jackson used it for good things and not horrendous things. And so with that being said, Tez, I am somebody. Are you somebody?
I am somebody.
There you go. And that's the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
You ready? You got your word?
Jesus Christ. That's not the word.
No, Jesse Jackson, not Jesus Christ. They're different people. I know it's easy to get them confused.
But,
similar things, but
same hair.
Yeah.
Sorry, the hop slam is already taking over. Hop slam. God, do I have a word? I have a word, yes.
Okay. I've got a word. So sit back, grab some
war.
It's Hop Slam time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I am your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping up?
And I have located Hop Slam near my work.
Okay. The Yes Market.
At a place called Batch 13.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Don't know what it is.
That feels like a bar, right?
It looks like it says wine, beer, spirits, and gifts.
Oh, well, there you go. You found it.
So it looks like maybe they sell it.
Hop Slam is just in DC. It's just DC only now. Is that what happened?
Wouldn't be classified as only a wine store. I think that might be the case. Like maybe Virginia is not going to let it in.
I haven't checked Maryland.
Ooh, Angel Share has it too. All right, I found a couple of places near enough that I can definitely hit that on my way home tomorrow. So if you were wondering what the important part of tonight's show was,
yeah, I'm here to help, man.
You know what you really need is me running around the campus with Hop Slam.
Hopped up on Hop Slam?
That would go great.
I mean, yeah, he might. No, look. Great.
Let's not get fired tonight. But
not tonight. Not tonight, everybody. Not tonight.
Off air, we'll talk about that. But
it doesn't seem to be in Maryland. Doesn't seem to be in Maryland.
It's an interesting thing where I work these days. And yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Look at that. No, look at that. Jinx.
Okay. Speaking of leaving things alone, now it's time for the headlines, which is everybody's favorite part of this show. It's not that long.
No, it's been so long.
It's been so long. Yes.
We were off for a decent amount of time, right?
We took a second winter break.
Yeah, the second winter break we took. Was our last show the show I think it was? Or no, was there one
before the Super Bowl?
It was before, but was it with our great friend?
Yes. I think yes. Romello Marcellus.
Yes.
That was a fantastic show. I highly recommend everybody go back and listen to that one.
I plugged that on No Filter Sports because it randomly came up. And don't ask how it came up, but I think we were talking about the length in between shows, and we asked the same thing. And I told people I have that marked off of like where you should go listen to that.
That show started off a little shaky, and it accelerated rapidly.
And it had people holding on.
Yeah, it was like riding the red line towards Fort Totten. Like it was
a lot of movement. At a certain point I was just quiet, and I was just like, I'm gonna, just for the sake of the show, I'm gonna be quiet and let this continue on because this is all being recorded.
I have not experienced what we experienced on that show at that level. There was an op-ed in the paper today about Black MAGA, such that it existed.
I think it's even, I wouldn't even go as far as I don't know, that's a different show. I have many thoughts on that and other things.
Speaking of different shows, I actually sent you something that is an assignment.
That's the AI one, right?
We send you on assignment a lot, but this is a real one. So like actually do something with that. But it's time for headlines. Don't do it now.
Okay. No, it's
the only time he pays attention to the show is when he's on the show.
Somebody was dead. I don't know who it was. Continue on.
Oh, also breaking news. Remember when we reported on the Department of Labor and the Secretary of Labor and all the strip clubs and all that stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what's her name? DeReamer, Lori Chavez DeReamer. She has a husband. He's a doctor. His name is Dr. Sean DeReamer, which is a fantastic name.
Yeah, it's really good.
Dr. DeReamer. Guess where he's not allowed anymore?
Can't be. I was going to go with hospitals.
No.
He's allowed to do that. So strip clubs.
No, the Department of Labor. Why is he not allowed to come visit his wife at work anymore?
Oh, because there's some type of extramarital thing going on.
You could say the husband of Labor Secretary Lori Chavez Dreamer has been barred from the department's headquarters after at least 2 female staff members told officials that he had sexually assaulted them, according to people familiar with the decision and a police report obtained by the New York Times. So he visited his wife at work and, did a little sexual assault on the side.
That's insane.
As you do in a Trump cabinet.
This is, oh my, clearly. I mean,
grab him by the pussy.
Right. It is that. No, I don't. All right, let's do these headlines because we could do a whole different show.
All right. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll kick it off.
All right.
Reading is after digesting this lovely thing. In Olympic news, Lindsey Vonn broke her knee into a million pieces and flamed out of her comeback, which just goes to show Tiger Woods makes great life choices. Yikes. That's crazy. That's a bad one.
A big controversy erupted in curling.
Oh, you're still.
And it's being called Touchgate, or as we say here in the States, the Epstein files.
No, it's clearly Touchgates. The curling the Canadian skip. I still got it. Canadian skip Mark Kennedy told members of the Swedish team to, quote, fuck off, which caught everyone off guard until they learned that that's Quebecios. Did I say
Quebecois.
Quebecois, excuse me, sorry.
That's the language they speak in Quebec. Quebecois.
Quebecois. I listened to enough. What is it? What's it? 11:30 at night. I should know that. Quebecois,
as it happens.
As it happens. As Quebecois 4. I'm sorry. Did
there you go.
No,
you. If Canada listened to this show, they'd be like super offended by that whole sentence that you just did there, but they don't. So
I did answer a trivia question about Canada today at work in our trivia thing. I'm like, I think something basic though, like what is the capital or some shit like
Ottawa?
Yeah, that was what it was, basically.
Okay. Here's a true story. The White House waded into that curling fight, blaming the Canadians for causing NBC to have to pay FCC fines, which the White House controls, for Kennedy's swearing. Trump spokesman Big Balls told media outlets that it could be settled if Canada would just give up Alberta.
He's still around?
No. That part was made up. The White House getting involved in the controversy, that was real.
All right. Jared Kushner headed up in talks with Iran in Geneva this week. So stay tuned for the next Trump crypto venture. I ran away with the money. That's really good.
It's pretty good. Kushner was in Geneva to also hold talks with Russia and Ukraine, or as he calls them, Checkbook 1 and Checkbook 2.
We're dealing with the checks again, huh? The new checks.
Yeah.
The Department of War removed the command. The Department of War removed the command of a black captain of a missile destroyer, claiming that they had lost confidence in his leadership. And also, well, you know how they are.
Yeah. I'm glad you got to read that one.
Thank
God. The Bad Bunny halftime show continues to reverberate through the culture as millions of hurt white folks begin to learn that La Bamba is also in Spanish.
Oh, sorry. Sad white folks. My favorite. After trashing Bad Bunny for singing in Spanish, many Americans retreated to their nachos and their guacamole while enjoying musical stylings of Kid Rock with a margarita.
That's right. There you go. The AI boom is coming for Hollywood as people make deep fakes of Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, but you'll be able to spot these fakes due to a unique flaw in the AI program commonly referred to as acting.
Yeah. I do think that's where that story comes from. It's a good joke. Actually, there is a unique thing here that I probably should do a TED talk on around these open source AI models that China is actually seems to be getting better at perfecting. And that's a whole different story. But anyways, moving right along, the FCC attacked Stephen Colbert and tried to stop him from airing an interview with I always butcher this person's name. Is it James Tallarico? Did I say that?
There you
correctly?
go.
Yeah. Who is running for Senate in Texas? Yeah, he's running against for the primary against
In the primary, he's running against Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Crockett, right? Okay. As a result, at press time, that video had north of 7 million views, or roughly tripled the Kid Rock halftime show. Nice triple.
Every time, I mean, it's probably higher than that by now, but by banning it, come on. How stupid are these people?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Nobody would have even noticed this if they hadn't said anything about it. Valentine's Day came and went amidst a global surge in cocoa prices caused by climate change. So no, your honey didn't forget you. They just couldn't afford to show you. Stay tuned for a new holiday 2 weeks after Valentine's Day when candy is affordable again.
This is true.
I checked today. All of the stuff is at half price.
Yep.
Okay. Next week,
75.
It's going to be way down. Yeah. And then guess who's buying a bunch of chocolate? Yeah. This guy.
75.
Yeah.
The sewer line is dumping millions of gallons of untreated sewage into the Potomac in what authorities are calling the biggest metaphor to hit Washington, D.C. in many years.
Yes.
God.
I'm proud of that one.
It's a really good one, but that story is very wild, actually.
It's also very stupid because it's DC Water's pipe. And everybody knows that. And Trump is like, I blame Governor Moore, the black governor. And Governor Moore was like, I would have definitely fixed that pipe if it was my pipe. And then Muriel was like, all right, fine. State of emergency. It's your problem now, feds.
Exactly. Smart move.
Dummies. What? All right. Speaking of sewage, RFK Jr. was probably doing something somewhere.
Yeah,
or that's the headline.
In jeans and
in jeans. He's always in jeans.
He's in jeans. A maniac. Clearly, everybody. Maybe the aliens that Obama was talking about. Trump named the new acting CDC director, noted COVID crank. Is it Jay Bhattacharya? Bhattacharya. Excuse me.
Bhattacharya.
Interesting. Okay, I see where it is there. Bhattacharya. Okay. Or as Trump calls him, the Indian one.
Yes, there you go.
Hope maybe Trump could say his name better than I can.
Oh no, he can't. He couldn't even manage acetaminophen, so there's no way. Fair. Bhattacharya, come on.
Bhattacharya.
He's gonna be like bada bing, bada boom.
Exactly.
Okay, measles continues to spread, including here in the D.C. region, so it's only a matter of time until Don Jr. tries to snort them.
Uptick of people in masks on Metro. They're not playing around. I don't know, but I'm not anti-mask, so yeah, wear your mask. I'm pretty sure it does save us all from all that, but
it works. They work. They do work.
They do work. Again, I think it goes down to like a risk tolerance because I'm not outside in the mask. I'm not in. But I understand that, yes, I would lessen the chance of me getting sick by wearing a mask. And especially, I know everybody's loving Randy Clark right now, but hey, if you're listening, buddy, you got to stop running fucking 6 cars at rush hour on the fucking red line. Sorry. That's when you need a mask because now all of us are combined into this.
Yeah, we're all squished together.
Squished in. And then I do need to put my mask on because there's no way to breathe anyway. So I might as well protect myself from breathing.
He just needs more of those non-broken trains, and then it'll be fine.
If it was explained to me, I would be better. I'm gonna email him.
They need to keep more trains, more cars running out to Loudoun so that nobody can ride on them because they can't put them on the red line because those are silver cars. They go on the silver line.
Yeah, I wish that was the case.
I bet they have different sized tracks. That's the thing. The red line's the old tracks and the silver line's the new tracks, and they're like slightly off.
Slap one of them old cars on 2 cars on the back of 2 old cars on the back of a 6 car.
Give me the old yellow, orange, and brown, baby.
I just need 8 cars during rush hour. Every train has to be 8 cars
and no bikes
during rush hour. Oh my God. Brian hates the people jumping. This man had a scooter in the middle door of the car. Anyway, sorry. This is super DJ into ourselves. All right, out in San Francisco, where I've been on assignment, the Super Bowl happened while we were off for the winter break, and I'm being told that the U.S. has been saved from the possibility of happy Boston fans. Oh my God! Thank God.
Nothing worse. Nothing worse. In international news, Trump is sending the Gerald Ford from Venezuela to Iran, but only because if he uses it to start one more war, he gets a free sub. Now, is that a sandwich joke or a submarine joke? I don't know.
No, that's good.
It's a both. Porque no los dos?
All right. Our brothers and sisters in Japan held an election, and the current prime minister lady won again, proving that even Japan, where you can buy used panties in a vending machine, trusts women more than the U.S. Yeah. This could have all been different, everybody. This could have all been different.
The several smart ladies in pantsuits. I mean,
we've tried these other ways. Can we?
We're just retrying. We're doing all of the things, the worst things we could think of the last 250 years all at once now. We haven't done them all at once. So now we do them all at once. Maybe that's different. Mom Donnie will handle it. All right. And finally, Lent starts this week, and so does Ramadan. So if your Jewish friends are the only ones with happy, well-fed attitudes for the next little while, now you know why.
Yeah. I stopped myself from giving some direct feedback to an individual because I was like, I get it. You know what? Rough time right now.
You're hungry.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funny thing or a weird thing, right? In my line of work, which is physical labor,
right?
There are several people who I've worked with over the years who do observe Ramadan, and and it was often in the summer, when it's like really hot, and we're out working out on a roof replacing a compressor or something like that, and like these guys are damn near dying. They need water. It's just not safe. And, we'd all do the right thing and be like, go sit in the shade for a little while. We'll finish this up, and try to help them as much as you can. But good Lord, man, that I get what you're doing, right? Like fasting means a thing. You're doing the right thing for your way of thinking like that. My people do fasting as well.
Right.
But we also have this overarching rule that God doesn't want you to put yourself at any serious risk of to your health. And if it's 100 degrees outside on a roof, you need to drink water. Just do that. Don't tell. He's not looking. It's fine. Just drink some water. If you don't make it to the iftar, it doesn't count. You have to survive.
I don't know. Dogmas are strong, man. Things are. I don't know what you want. Again, what am I supposed to say? I don't know. Logically, what you're saying makes a lot of sense, but these are belief systems. So,
I believe in things too. I have
think about what people have done in the name of religion. This isn't the crazy. This ain't
skipping water is nothing like I don't know, a crusade or something. But
these things are strong, man. I get you. I'm like, yo, and especially because. How as long as things have like in this case, Ramadan has been observed right on Earth, the changes of when what people are doing or it is in the religion does not evolve with the changes of humanity.
That's
at least
right.
Right, because if we'll go back 600 years ago or some shit, just let's take that time frame, people are doing different things. And
they're mostly farming, and they're mostly living right where they were born, and they're mostly, not welding things on a black tar roof in July. I'm just saying, take care of yourselves out there. Okay. If you gave up stuff for Lent, I hope you gave up something good. And if you're a Republican and it's Lent, this is your first time experiencing actual Christianity, I would recommend you give up voting. Just don't do that again, ever. That's how you could really express your Christ-like nature, render unto Caesar that is Caesar's, and whatever.
Didn't the Fuentes dude tell him, wasn't he? I heard he was out there telling folks not to vote.
Yeah. You should do what Nick Fuentes says. I fully support doing everything that Nick Fuentes says.
Chill, be quiet. You guys please be very, very
I'm not worried about that little prick, but yeah.
I didn't even ping you about this, but know one of the more maddening things I listened to over the break while we were out?
I'm dying to find out.
It was an interview. It was on the New Yorker. It was New Yorker Radio Hour. It was between Remnick and friggin' Ben Shapiro. And wow. Why
would they do that? Why would either of them speak to the other one?
I know why, because Remnick was on I don't know who did this. It was the Times, I think. It was like whatever that New Deal summit. I forgot who does that. I forgot the guy who does that. I shouldn't not be blanking on his name. But they did like this panel where it was like Remnick, Shapiro, Charlemagne. It was like this, I gotta find this and send it to you. It was kind of maddening. God, who was it from the PBS News Hour or PBS who was on there? It was this crazy panel. No, it was it wasn't Desjardins, was it? No. It was somebody. I'm blanking on the names. It was just one of them. It was just a crazy crew of folks. But I remember Shapiro and Remnick were going, and it's clear that Remnick is trying to get the New Yorker out because he did something with Pablo Torre and Ezra Edelman on the Post on Pablo's show. So it's clear that New Yorker is trying to tap into a younger market. But
Pablo is the right direction to go with that.
Yeah, Pablo's definitely the right way. But I found the Shapiro interview maddening, very interesting because I've never really listened to him at all. But yeah, it was maddening in many sense, but it is enlightening in another sense. It's like, oh, that's where y'all are coming from with this. Interesting.
I don't know who the y'all is with Shapiro.
That's a great question as well.
I don't know.
The right? Pick how you want to.
Yeah, but every once in a while, he remembers he's Jewish. And then he's like, hey, now, y'all are a little too cozy with these guys over there. And then
I don't know. It was just listening because again, Remnick had many of those questions for him because it's two Jewish people going back and forth.
Right, sure.
And so it was very interesting, and from the viewpoint as an outsider looking at that and being like, this is kind of crazy.
I sometimes think about if I was able to get say Miller in a room or Shapiro in a room or something like that,
oh my God, Jeff Goldberg on because again, this is the 11th anniversary because we're really DJing to ourselves right now. But Jeff Goldberg on Washington Week, they did the whole 30 minutes was on Stephen Miller last week. Because again, the same questions that we all have. Again, I'd rather another Jewish person have the question because I'm wondering these same questions too from the outside.
Well, think about them in the same way you might ask Candace Owens or somebody.
Exactly.
These same questions. It's what do you think the end game here is that you're not in the same group as me? Why do you think that you're going to be spared? And that's my question. That's where all of the other questions are just tangential to that. That's where it really gets down to.
Yeah.
Why do you, Ben Shapiro, why do you, Stephen Miller, why are you comfortable being in these same circles and moving these same ideas forward with Nick Fuentes and Enrique Tarrio and all these guys? Why are you okay with that, knowing where that goes from their perspective? If they win out, what happens to you that you think or what happens to all of us, the tribe, that you think you're separate from that?
I think Shapiro's thing would say is that his whole belief system is very Ronald Reagan, and I don't know where they see Ronald Reagan currently in this administration, but I think they look at the opposite as unacceptable, like that. Like I think they look at Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or like because they say, and this is from what Shapiro was saying, he was like, "Oh no, I think that people's failures almost are their own choices, and it's not like the government that should provide a floor or any of these things. People should almost pull themselves up by their bootstraps." And I think that, like, as the opposition, I look at this and say, no, that's completely that can't be that. You can't run this economy that way.
Well, you can't run an economy that way, but that doesn't get anywhere near the question. What happens if Nick Fuentes gets his way?
But that's the thing. They don't care about that. It's wrapped in this weird, like, libertarian, like, small government, and it's like, yeah, that's not what's being done right now. Like, we could argue about that.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that later in the show because we do have something about that.
Sorry.
Okay, so those were headlines. That was awesome. All right.
Everyone everywhere, right?
Brian wants to play a break song, I'm sure.
Please.
And I can't wait to see what he's going to do to us. So we're going to take our first real break here, and then we'll come back with a new segment called Fake News, which is going to be really exciting. So you're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Girl, you fine, you sexy. But baby, when I bit into that chicken, it was pinker than your lip gloss. And what the fuck was that seasoning? Old bland sadness? Hell no, I ain't dying over no dinner, baby. She couldn't fry chicken. Lord, it's a sin. She couldn't fry chicken. I won't be back again. The loving was fire, the thrill gave me a high. But if the chicken ain't right, then goodbye, baby, goodbye. She couldn't fry chicken. Oh, Lord, save me. She couldn't fry chicken. KFC, take me.
Oh, all right. Welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez, and happy Black History Month.
What's popping, y'all?
Oh my God. Brian.
Oh, I get you every single time.
No, but like, this is getting out of hand.
It's
Not,
okay.
Not only are we wasting so much water,
We're wasting
it's
water
just-
for
it's-
that.
Look at these dead ass birds.
Look at these dead ass birds.
But that song,
It's a good song.
all right.
It started off really good.
First of all, I'm just so mad it's AI because, like, yeah, it sounds really good, but it can't be about she couldn't fry chicken, baby. It's crazy to be the
Bag of deep fried water.
bag of deep fry. I mean, the quotables, there's
It's
1,000 quotables in that song.
Yes. I gotta say I enjoyed the song. That was a great pick, Brian. It is
The
highly
body
offensive.
was it the body was fine, but the chicken was pink inside? Was that it?
Yeah.
What?
The shell of a wing.
The shell of a wing, put it in a skillet? What?
There's no soul in that pan.
Old bland sadness.
Yes, the whole
It's-
bland sadness. Yes.
Okay.
That's yeah. Way to go, Brian. Way
Yeah,
to go.
you win. You win, Brian. You win.
Who knows what he's gonna do later?
We can't. No, I'm gonna skip all the breaks. We're going straight through. We're going straight through the end of this, man. They can't give him another chance at this. Like,
Happy Black History Month.
next month, you can let him back loose. I don't know. Let him take out whoever's month that is. He can't do this anymore.
Is it Women's History Month in March?
I take that back.
I think. I don't know. Do they get a month?
Not anymore. That was last year.
They just get a week out of the month, right? That's when they're never.
Oh
mind.
God. Anyway.
Okay. So now we've come to a new part of the show. This one's called Fake News. So our favorite fake news generator, no, not some internet website, is Trisha McLaughlin. McLaughlin. I don't know whether it's which way to pronounce that.
What was the hour back in the day? The McLaughlin hour?
Yeah, John McLaughlin.
Yeah. I think that it's spelled the same, right?
Yeah, but
And don't forget the McLaughlin group.
The
Yeah,
McLaughlin
McLaughlin
group.
There you go. Yeah.
That's a good one. Good
Issue
one.
number one.
Issue.
What did you have for breakfast? Pat Buchanan.
That was a crazy.
Wrong.
That was a crazy show. That was
Yeah,
it.
the old network TV Sunday morning talk shows. Negronsky,
Yeah.
and McLaughlin, and like pre-cable news. That was the thing, right? That sort of that and like Current Affair are the
Right.
things that created the cable news universe that we now know.
Actually, if I remember correctly, the McLaughlin group came in after the Redskin Report or
Yeah,
or press on Saturdays. I remember that.
Yeah,
you're
maybe it
right.
was on Saturdays.
Might have been
Yeah.
Saturday. Yeah.
All I
Once they
remember
were
is
on, that was out.
that it would come on and I would leave. And then I remember being a little older and my parents would watch it and I would watch these people fighting with each other, yelling at each other and saying how ridiculous they were. Eleanor Cliff and I don't remember. Maybe it was Buchanan or no. What's his name? The fat guy, Tony something, used to be on Diane Rehm show all the time too. But I would watch them like go at it, right? And I'd be like, why do these people go on this show where they hate each other? And my dad would be like, no, they're friends. They as soon as the cameras are off, they all go have lunch and like hang out together. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And he's like, it's they disagree with each other, but they like each other. I was like,
Right.
It doesn't look like that. And he's like, well, yeah, but it's just TV. And then it turns out that's just how real life is. So anyway, Trisha.
She descended.
Yeah, right. Trisha, she has a job. She had a job. She worked at DHS as the chief lie generator. I'm sorry, assistant secretary of Homeland Security, and
assistant lie generator.
Yeah, assistant lie generator. Her job was like spokesperson. Really, I don't know why she had a title of assistant secretary or whatever, but she didn't do any secretarying. She just did press conference. And when she would do press conference, she would do aggressive lying and attacking reporters. So let's pick I don't know, a hypothetical situation where a 5-year-old in a bunny hat gets kidnapped by ICE and taken to Texas from Minnesota, where he grew up and where he's 5. He hasn't even grown up yet. Hypothetically, right? And everybody saw it happen, right? It's not like it happened in this hypothetical. It's not like it happens in a vacuum, right? It happens on camera in front of everybody because we all walk around carrying around a film studio in our pockets,
right?
A film studio that can broadcast to the entire fucking world in seconds. Okay. And so in this hypothetical, let's say this kid's name is Liam, right? Liam, there's a lot of Liams these days. So Liam gets kidnapped by ICE and taken to Texas, and everybody sees it in this situation. And then Trish would come on TV and be like, that didn't happen. And people would be like, no, we saw that. And the reporters would be like, yeah, we saw that they put the kid, we saw him go in the van. And they would say, and then she would be like, that kid is a terrorist. And you know it. And he was going to kill you if we didn't put him in that van and take him to Texas. And the reporter might ask something like, how does the 5-year-old know what a terrorist is? And she would say something like, because he's Mexican. And then that would be the press conference. No further questions, right? That would be it.
Yeah.
So then she would just leave or whatever. So here's this quote from this story from the Post. I was surprised to find the story in the Post, by the way, because they have no reporters left. They fired everybody.
No Filter Sports. You can go check that out. We'll talk about the
they killed the sports page, which is
very, very upsetting.
I think all three of us have a lot of thoughts about that.
Yeah,
probably similar thoughts.
I think there's a business opportunity there.
The ChipChat Sports page. You guys want to have a place to write and discuss things? You can come right here. We have this whole open section of wall can be yours. Can put up, Well, and you saw The Athletic moved in, right? They were like, here's the WAS section. And
I did not see that.
They were quick.
Wow.
If you were back on the socials, you would have got that ad. I got it all over my Instagram. It was like, Athletic has Washington Sports. And I was like,
damn,
my mom's got a New York Times login. So
Times won
The Times beat
won.
the Post.
The Times won.
I, a Washingtonian, am now reading the New York Times.
I've been
about Washington sports.
Yeah, I mean, in general, the Times is they're pro. Anyways, we don't have any puzzles, man. Idiots.
Yeah, Will Shortz. Who knew Will Shortz was the key to success? All right. So, well, I guess and Susan Sandberg knew.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that's the thing about Trisha. Here's this quote from the Post about this. Kristi Noem's chief spokeswoman built a reputation as a fierce defender of the administration's handling of immigration and of the secretary's leadership, frequently sparring with reporters on social media and appearing on cable news programs. But her forceful pronouncements have drawn criticism from Democrats and immigration rights groups who point to incidents in which statements she made were later contradicted in court or in video footage recorded by the witnesses. That's the nicest way of saying she's a big fucking liar. Like stuff she would say, then they would walk into court with and be like, did the DHS say this thing? And then DHS lawyers would be like, well, no, we didn't really say that. We said, like Liam was detained because his father had been detained and, that was unsafe to leave him by himself in Minnesota. And then he'd be like, no, that's your spokesperson. And here she called him a domestic terrorist threat. And then they'd be like, well, yeah. So Trisha had to go.
Yeah, but the reason why this individual, and I mean, if you look at that story, if you look at Blondie's testimony, like, yeah, they're there for a reason. They're there to show up on cable news. Like, it's insane that the playbook is this basic. It's that, yeah, show up on the channels that he's watching and do that. Show up at Congress in these hearings and do that. And whenever you show up for a press conference, you do that.
Yeah, because you're only really playing to one person.
One person.
Yeah.
Which I think that's when you think through, there's a lot of things when you think through, like dictatorship, fascism, authoritarianism, like this, that is really it there. I think
it's one of the many things that are really that.
But that is like it, like, yeah, we're here. It's not like we're not there. We're here.
Right. We're very much here where entire departments, entire agencies are basically running a Truman Show for Trump.
Yeah.
Where he gets to be the main character, where he gets to see his worldview reflected back to him through Fox News or whatever, and where everything they do is about pleasing and entertaining him. It doesn't even have to be about the actual policy enacted or anything. It's simply about generating television that he likes to watch.
Stupid Stalin.
Yeah, it is stupid Stalin. It's massive. So anyway, she had to go, and in part this is the cleaning house over the Minnesota problem, right? They've shot two white Americans dead, and they got to deal with that. And so they're drawing down forces. They have not removed forces. I want to be clear about that. The United States has a long history of doing this in other countries where we go and like knock over some shit, cause a major fiasco, burn everything to the ground, disrupt the whole country, whatever, lay it to waste. And then we, quote, leave, but we always leave behind a base or a contingency force or something like that, just to kind of keep an eye on things. So that's what they've done in Minnesota, right? They went and burned Minneapolis to the ground, shot everybody, made them sing and march in the streets again. Minnesota is doing a lot of heavy work these days. It's like, why do they have to be the center of the civil rights world? But they are right now. And then they're like, okay, we're leaving. And then what's his name? Homan, whatever his name is, the guy with the bribery, with the kava bag full of money. He was like, no, we're gonna leave a couple of people here. Just keep an eye on things, especially around that voting y'all are thinking about doing. So, okay, but anyway, she had to go. So here are some true facts about Trisha McLaughlin that we learned in researching this story about her. And so we'll just go ahead and read through these. Do you want to take the first one?
Yeah, Trisha attended the University of Maryland, go Terrapins, where she learned how to burn cars after Duke wins and burn facts in front of reporters.
That's true. That is true. That is quite a photo of her, Brian.
Wait, hold on. Oh wow, that is
yeah.
Wow,
that's good. Looking full Barbie there. McLaughlin grew up in Ohio, which explains that toxic look on her face at all times.
Oh God.
Yes.
While serving,
that is true.
Okay. You never miss a chance.
No.
While serving on Governor Mike DeWine's campaign, Trisha once ran a fundraiser on OnlyFans.
Yep. Brian donated.
Once and only.
That's true. While serving as Vivek's communication director, she met her husband, who has the very real name of Benjamin Yoho. That's him. That's Yoho. His name is Benjamin Yoho.
I feel like James Bond meets Benjamin Yoho somewhere.
Yeah. He's one of Blofeld's henchmen for sure. Look at him. Look at his name. His name is Yoho. Yoho? She wants to be Trisha Yoho?
And a bottle of rum.
It's just Yoho. I mean, okay.
Let me keep my jokes to myself. Yeah. While serving at DHS, her husband's consulting company was awarded no bid contracts worth over $200 million because you only haul once. Oh,
that's what Yoho stands for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's true. That is true. ProPublica had this huge thing about it. Also, Kristi Noem's husband, she has a husband, by the way, has a company who got like these giant contracts. Her husband is fine with her fucking Corey Lewandowski all the time, by the way, because that's who she's sleeping with. Yeah. Okay. And then this is true. She once ate 37 hot dogs in a row, which is a great photo for that, Brian. Way to go. Yeah. Okay. That's Trisha.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have much to say on that one.
There's nothing else to say. Just, good riddance, I guess. She's being replaced by somebody called Katie Zachariah.
Which means they'll be more corrupt.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be the same.
Usually how it goes.
I haven't seen what she looks like, but I can take a guess.
Yep. Yeah. It's a theme.
Yeah, she'll look just like the Attorney General. Also, speaking of which, that was a hilarious. We didn't have to write anything about that. We didn't even bother to cover that because it's just funny on its face. But go watch the Pam Bondi scream about the Dow Jones in a hearing about Epstein.
It's also not like it is funny. Yes,
it is very funny,
but then it's also not funny because it's like that's the attorney general. Like that can never be taken out of the history books. That happened.
That's true, but she's an unserious person. The whole thing is unserious.
I'm longing for Jeff Sessions.
No, don't you say that.
I don't know, man. He recused himself.
Ashcroft.
Jeff Sessions recused himself.
Yeah.
Like,
because he was still playing by the old rules.
So there it is. Those are dead.
Those are long dead. Long dead.
Okay.
Barr was willing to make a nod to them occasionally, but no.
That's not good.
None of this is good. This is the thing I keep saying that you and other people keep not believing me. But now Trump is openly talking about not having elections and federalizing elections, and Republicans should take over elections.
All right, that's fine. He can try to do that. I still find the way that this system is set up that it's going to be damn near impossible. What they can control, I really look more at Mike Johnson, is who they seat in the next Congress.
You keep saying that. They're just not going to have the elections. They're going to call a state of emergency. They're going to send ICE to all the polling places and have them occupy the polling places. And if a court rules that they can't do that, they're going to say, make me.
What I think then you're discounting, though, the amount you're going to create the full-on blown constitutional crisis, because then the governors will send in their own national guard to enforce the elections. So then we see, then there's the game of chicken that happens. And I don't think, I think you're less likely to see that on a mass scale versus elections happen, votes get counted, and they do not seat these new individuals, because it's going to be a landslide. Everybody, let me let everybody know that.
Oh yeah,
it's about to be a landslide. Like, there's nothing lining up right now. Just the general morass of the country is like, whoa, okay, all right, yeah, this is insane.
Like, so Texas could go blue.
Yeah. And that's where they'll start to call this fraud. But I think, I'm not arguing that there will be those specific Democratic cities that, like, they'll send folks in, but they won't send them into certain places, and they'll lose there in places they thought they had that was locked up. It's clear as day is where
they're not going to take the chance on having an election. They're not going to do it.
I don't think I hear, but they don't control the elections.
They don't control all this other stuff too. If you read later on in the show, which is literally the next story, you're going to see how much they actually give a shit about the courts.
I hear you with the courts, but I don't think you stop. I just think the way this country is built around towns and local municipalities, those folks are going to, they're going to go do their civic duty to go vote, and those people are going to count votes, and those votes will be recorded. So there will be a number. The press, folks will be able to go get a number and be like, hey, we're certifying this on the state level, on the town, county level. That's going to happen in a lot of places, because, yeah, the federal elections are one thing, but the local elections are still going to happen. Like that, there's no way you stop that. I don't think you can stop that on a massive scale unless
they have created a whole paramilitary organization.
How many people are in that? What's our number in ICE?
I don't know. Tens of thousands?
Yeah, tens of thousands, right? I don't think tens of thousands of them can stop the way the way voting happens in this country, being how it's so decentralized. Like, I don't think it's possible for them to do it. They're not even organized enough to do that.
Yet, look, here's my calculation. He's created a paramilitary, which is ICE.
I agree.
He's equipped them to be ready to fight against the real military should that come. He's giving them their equipment. He's giving them their backing. You know, he has created this whole paramilitary organization that is sort of outside the chain of command of the rest of the security forces, law enforcement, whatever you want to call it, in the United States. He is also consolidating power within the armed forces by removing people who could potentially stand up and say, I'm not going to do this, or resign in protest. He's firing them all now. He's taking away their commands. He is expanding the role of the military in civilian areas. He's installing them in places. And then we're going to get to that story about the warehouses. There's no way that this move goes a different direction. This is the playbook. This is every single one. You know, the German army existed, right? After Versailles, they were shrunk. They were tiny. They were not supposed to be like a real army, right? And then, so Hitler creates the SS, and he says, well, these guys aren't the army. They're not the military. They're a security force. They're a different thing, right? And then when he does get an army back, the SS is still kept separate, and their job includes policing the military, making sure that the German army behaves its damn self by whatever Hitler wants done, because the SS is really the ones running the show. That's what ICE is now.
Fair, but but in that situation, I maybe the numbers don't bear this out, but I think it would be safe to say a majority of Germans believed in the actual ideals at that point. I think we're a higher level there. You couldn't say in America that people believe.
No, people are really reacting negatively to this.
Negatively and I think that's where the oil and water hits. I think that's where the separation happens.
But you're gonna have to have violence in order to stop this
the
from
violence
going
is
forward.
here. They shot 2 Americans. What do you mean? It's
Bigger violence.
Okay, that's fine. I don't
running gun battles in the streets violence.
I don't think that stops. I don't think that stops the American people from going out to vote. I don't think that stops them because then it gets personal at that point. I think that
it does. It really does.
Gets personal for Americans, and then I think that's where you see a large majority of people where they're like, "Oh no," and like then what you're saying is that they plan to mow everybody down.
That's what I think is going to happen. Yeah,
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen.
I don't think
that. They're not going to mow. They're not going to mow the good people of Ohio.
An extra 4-pack of Hop Slam.
Hop Slam. Then put it on ice.
And we're betting that case of that pack of Hop Slam on whether
they mow. There's no way to stop elections in the United States.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're not going to let it happen. They don't want there to be an election.
Yes, I agree with that. There's no way to go across 50 states, the amount of counties, and stop the election. That is not possible.
Sure, there is. You call the Insurrection Act. You station the military in places, and you basically force them to defect. You have to force them to go AWOL. They'll federalize all the guard to keep the governors from being able to call it out and run these guys off. And Trump will tell everybody, if you defect, we're going to shoot you.
The states will. We've seen this before. The states will. I think the guard, when the president
will federalize the guard and take it away from the governor.
That'll be illegitimate.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it will. If the people that say if let's say a court rules on it and they say it's illegitimate, and the guard says, "All right, we're fine." Let's say all right, there'll be a majority of the guard. A majority of the guard will go and follow those orders from the court. A majority of them will do that.
Yeah, but some of them won't. And Trump will say, if you come, I don't care what the court says, I'm pardoning you in advance. Come along. And he's already done it. And he's gonna call the Insurrection Act, and he's gonna the signal that the Proud Boys and the Patriot Front guys have all been waiting for. They're going to hear their signal. He's going to deputize them or whatever they think is going to happen. And then he's going to have his ability. Sure, he might not have enough sworn ICE agents to do it, but he can certainly find enough idiots in khakis to go menace some polling places.
Some, not all. And I do think that these votes, to do this at a mass scale, they're not organized enough. And there isn't, again, even with the army itself, I don't think there's enough folks who will defect to the point to allow that to happen. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that. Will some places be affected? Yeah, I can go down that road with it. A mass cancellation of the elections, it's too decentralized for that to happen. It's too decentralized.
Well, you're gonna put your Hop Slam where your money.
I'm putting it there. I don't believe it. This is super DJ to ourselves today.
Yeah. No, this is an important conversation for people to hear and understand, because I really do. I keep saying it every week. I keep saying it, and I just want to make sure that it's on the record. So
yeah, it's on. Yeah.
Let's talk about immigration and stuff in the shutdown. So here's some information that came from the Fed, San Francisco Fed. They did a little bit of data analysis, which is, going to be banned.
Oh my God, this is insane.
The story on Marketplace, I'm sure you heard it. New research note from the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco argues, in the most obvious fucking thing to ever be studied, analysis of data over several years found a direct relationship between the number of unauthorized immigrants in the country and job growth, meaning that you can't have one without the other. The San Francisco Fed looked at the Biden-era spike in unauthorized crossings in 2021 and a slowdown period from March 24 to March 25, and found that the labor market moved in tandem with immigration flows. Okay, this is the dumbest, most obvious thing, right? That people have this idea that, if there's not immigrants, Americans will have access to more jobs. The jobs exist because the immigrants are also consumers, right? And we need workers to fill the jobs. We need these immigrants to come and do this job. It's not that Americans are like being out-competed for the jobs. There simply aren't enough people. And you would learn in the very first day of Econ 101 that economies grow as populations grow. That's just like a basic math here. You have more people, you have more customers. You have more customers, you have more investors, you have more output, you have more demand, you have all of the things. It's so clear. And so now this completely dried up flow of people, this negative flow of people into the United States, so people are leaving the United States, is going to have exactly the opposite consequence, which we're already seeing. Inflation remains above target. In the notes, the Fed said in their most recent meeting, they are talking about raising rates again.
What do you expect? Yeah.
The economy is not expanding. It's K-shaped, right? A lot of people are losing ground, and they're
saying there's K's within the K's, and they get to one more, then we're at,
Yeah, then we're right back to America.
Yeah.
Then Don Lemon better watch out. It also really affects the housing market in a very profound way, because immigrant labor is the backbone of the housing, the house building economy. And so we are already short several million units of housing. When we talk to Redfin economist, your friend Daryl.
Daryl Fairweather. Yes.
Yeah, she was all about how few units we have, right? And the scarcity that and therefore that increases upward pressure on the prices. And so what you need to do is you need to build a lot more houses. Well, if you cut off the labor supply, you don't build any more houses. Yeah. And so then you are now making housing more expensive for the people who are already here, which is, again, very, very obvious basic math here. So I hope all of you people who are hoping to be able to buy a house and we're blaming the immigrants for your inability to do so are enjoying the fact that you now must continue to rent at an exorbitant price because you voted for Trump. And you should pay some landlord billionaire more money for where you already live, because he could get it from the next person up. And
landlord billionaires in the private equity market that's bought up all this,
loving all this stuff, right? The deregulated private equity property market. Also, the EPA ruled itself non-existent. So, if you do live in one of these places that voted for Trump and is subject to these, disasters, like say in Ohio
or acid rain,
Louisiana, any of those places, congratulations. I hope you have a great day. Let's talk about judges and court orders. Okay, we've talked about that a lot of times on the show, but basically the thing you got to know is that there's 3 branches of government, right? That guy, Jimmy Madison, he was the one that was like, yo, we should split these powers up so that somebody makes a law, somebody executes a law, and a different person like reviews the law and grants the executive the authority to enforce as is written. And and it's like, a stool with 3 legs will stand, but a stool with 2 won't. And there's so many metaphors for this. And it's like for 250 years it's been like, yo, this pretty well works. Yeah. And it's all based on this basic central tenet of like, when the court rules you can't do something, the executive goes, all right, you got me, and they just comply. They should have just complied.
Yeah, and then if you want to do it, the legislation should then create a law.
Right. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times the courts have said you could do this if Congress writes a law that says you can do this.
Right.
Your problem isn't with us. Your problem is with Congress. Go to Congress and get the law. Happens at the state level all the time. Right. So That's how things have worked. This is not that. This is how things are working now. The Trump administration has violated more than 50 orders from federal judges in the District of New Jersey, in a district of New Jersey. One district in New Jersey, all in cases involving immigrants challenging the legality of their detention according to a court-ordered review conducted by the Justice Department. So the courts were like, hey, how many times have we told you to do something and you haven't done it? And DOJ, for whatever reason, complied with that particular court order and went back and investigated and told on themselves. The admission comes as federal judges around the country grapple with how best to address an emerging pattern that we predicted on this show. Don't say I didn't. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. Emerging pattern of government non-compliance in immigration cases. Judges have castigated what they have described as the administration's lawless approach to the rulings, summoned senior officials to their courtrooms to account for their lapses, and threatened to hold officials in contempt. None of that has worked. And they've
threatened. They have not held anybody in the contempt yet.
No, but they have called some people in and said, you need to get here and explain to me, this thing. And sometimes that gets them to like back off a little bit. But like I said, I was at Dulles and I saw this shit. They do not give a fuck. In the New Jersey case, Judge Michael E. Fairbears, Farbiers? I don't know. It's a great name, whatever it is.
I like Fairbears better.
Fairbears.
For the judge of Fairbear.
Yeah. Who was appointed by Biden, ordered the administration to detail every instance in which it had failed to comply with the judicial order in the district since December 5th. That's just like a month or a month and change, right? In response, they came up with 52 separate violations across 547 cases. So a tenth of the time, 1 out of every 10 times they get ordered to do something, they just be like, nope, not going to do that. She wrote that detainees were transferred 17 times despite court orders prohibiting them from being moved. The moves took place, quote, inadvertently due to logistical delays, said the Justice Department. No, that's not what happened. Even just this week, the judges ruled that they couldn't re-detain Kilmar Abrego Garcia because they were like, we're going to just go pick him up again. And they're like, you can't keep putting this guy in jail. We're telling you that there's no legal standing for that. And they're like, we don't care. Let's see. Another detainee was flown to Peru in violation of a court order, quote, due to inadvertent administrative oversight. We just flew him to Peru and we don't fucking care. Let's see. This lawyer clarified that he chose to stay there in Peru after to avoid being returned to the U.S. only to be then held in detention. He was like, I guess I'll just rather be in this other country than come back. Yeah, right. Let's see. There's also like instances of hundreds of times that they are just not complying. It is shocking, right? But it is also not surprising. Right. This is exactly what we did. And I said it. It's the you and what army scenario. So the judge is going to rule and say, you got to do this. And the DOJ or whoever is just going to be like, fuck you, make me. Judges have repeatedly charged that the administration hasn't taken court orders seriously since the first weeks of the second term. A recent flood of challenges to Mr. Trump's efforts to detain immigrants who entered the country illegally years ago has tested the court's capacity and the Justice Department's bandwidth and the administration's respect for the judicial branch. Appearing before a judge in Minnesota, one federal prosecutor working immigration cases on a temporary basis said it sometimes took, quote, 10 emails and a threat that I will walk out to persuade her clients at the Department of Homeland Security to respond to her request to comply with the court orders. There was one government lawyer who asked the judge to hold her in contempt so she could get 24 hours of sleep in a jail cell.
That's insane.
It's so, again, they're willing to do it here. Get your canned good, folks. Get your canned goods.
I mean, if someone's dead, they can't pardon you, right?
Yeah, that's true, I suppose.
I think there's a case where you wait all of this out and like let natural causes take this out. Because people, I mean, to your point, the pardons are blanket, but like, this is, someone has to pay for this eventually. And people can say that's political retribution all you want, but there has to be some type of accountability. Like, or then it doesn't make any sense. Like, none of this. I mean, I get why it's impossible now. And it's based on, again, a good bulk of voters making this crazy decision. But going forward, people have to pay for this. And it's not, again, nothing with political retribution at all. It's just like, hey, no, like you can't just, laws have been broken.
To pay?
In this case here, right? These department officials who have disregarded this. Yeah. And I think there should be a time where it's waited out. And yeah, you shouldn't like let's say that if and I know you have to do this, right? But if they take back the Senate, let's just say the Congress, let's just say they take back the Congress, right? Not the Senate. I don't think you impeach. I don't think you do it. What's the point?
There isn't any point.
So don't, but I think, because I think if you do that, you end up riling up. I think you almost kind of, you try your best to pass legislation, like to go back, like it'll get vetoed, whatever, that's fine. But like you don't impeach and you wait this out. And whatever that looks like at that point, right? Like you just wait it out. Like you can't, because again, I think you run investigations, but you don't subpoena anybody. Because what's the point?
They're not going to comply.
Exactly. So what's the point? I think you can't, to your point earlier, right? We're in a different politics at this point. When they win control of Congress, you have to pivot for the next 2 years in a different way. And some people will say you're not doing anything. I think there's a way to convey that to the public. I think you can go out, you can barnstorm, you can go around and sell what's happening and be like, hey, this is why that we believe this. You can even have that. But just don't waste time on subpoenas. Don't waste time on impeachment. Like there's no way for the political process to actually go through and do that. So it's a waste of time. But I do think there's other ways you can go about this, but there has to be some type of accountability at this point, right? Like something has to be.
So for the purposes of this conversation,
right,
I will entertain your idea that there will be an election.
Yeah,
but
let's do this for that. Just
but only for this purpose.
Yeah.
If the Dems take control of Congress, great. Yeah, I don't think there is any particular benefit. I agree with you to hauling these guys in and having them refuse to comply with a subpoena or whatever. But your question of there has to be accountability. When I asked who, I don't mean Bondi or Nome or any of the people who work in those departments of political appointees. Who needs to be every single fucking ICE agent that volunteered and signed up for this shit, and everybody who voted for this shit. The accountability needs to be a society-wide accountability.
You can't blame the voters, and this is why I'll say this, right? You blame them for yes, but excuse me, you can't punish the voters, right? You can't punish the voters. The voters are being punished already, right? If we're being honest, right? You see them every day. They come, I didn't know he would take my people away, right? Like they're being punished already. Have the day you voted for. I'm not worried about them at a certain point. Y'all chose this, good to go. Better fine. Your comeuppance will happen. That's there. There's nothing to do. The voters made a decision because they don't understand inflation and they should listen to marketplace, right? That's the reason we're in this, right? In a sense. I mean, there's a segment that are bigots and hatred, like, and hateful, and yes, but there's a majority of folks who didn't understand. All they understood is they went to the grocery store and prices are 9%. There's 9% inflation at that point. But no, like, we're asking way too much from the American populace for them to be able to decipher for that. That's a longer term goal where we need to, like, again, re-educate around civics.
While you're willing to go out here and call the American people stupid, I'm certainly not.
I didn't say that.
Yes, that's what I heard you say.
I didn't say they were stupid. I said there's too much going on in their lives for me to expect them to dive deep into, like, the reason why things are the way they are.
Saw and heard the tapes about grabbing him by the pussy. They knew what he did in the first term. They know everything about this. This is not a surprise.
But 2016 is different, and we know he wins that election because of lack of turnout. And the reason lack of turnout is for a variety of other reasons. Like, he wins that because we didn't show up. And I can talk. I've talked.
Okay, fine. But what I'm saying is, I don't mean that we punish the voters like at a governmental level. But I think that at a societal level, there needs to be a reckoning where if you contributed to this attack,
their family members are being sent away. Their family members are being sent away. Is that not enough?
Some of them, but, like, you know, if the guys from
their healthcare went up, their healthcare is skyrocketing in these poor places that rely on the Affordable Care Act.
Okay,
like,
I'm talking about, like, if the white supremacist guys in Arkansas with their own little colony or whatever they're trying to do, if they walk into a store to try to buy something, the answer is get the fuck out of my store. It needs to be that.
That violates the law.
Nope.
It does.
It does, right? But they
violates
didn't care
the
about
law.
that. What they did.
I differ on this.
What they did by supporting this attack, voting for Trump is an attack on the United States. What they did is basically
democracy allows
Confederacy did.
Democracy allows this, unfortunately. Just is what it is.
It took a pardon for all of the Confederate soldiers to, like, figure out how to deal with this problem that a good chunk of Americans rose up in arms against the United States. So these people are going to have something equivalent. They have chosen to take up arms against the United States in supporting Donald Trump, and they need to then either admit to it and accept the pardon, which is one of the conditions of a pardon, or they need to be essentially, and forgive the term, iced out of society in a very profound way.
They legally did nothing. They legally did nothing wrong in the sense of voting for Donald Trump.
I don't care.
But there's the problem. You have to, because then we've lost the plot of this whole thing.
With malice towards some, for sure. I have malice towards some. Yeah,
I understand why. I understand why you would feel that way and why a majority of people would feel that way, but that we cannot approach it that way.
Well, that's why you're not benevolent dictator.
Clearly.
You're too benevolent. All right, so let's talk about where I think this goes next. And we're just going to follow the news here. I'm not creating stories. I'm not cherry picking information here. We're just literally following the news. This is a new segment called I'm Sure This Is Fine. Okay. Again, New York Times. This is about warehouses, data centers and warehouses and all this stuff. So one of the things that you probably have seen in more recent times is a lot of these really huge buildings that seem to be able to just go up really fast, right? These are what they call slab side construction buildings. Basically, the way they work is use concrete and you pour out a whole wall of a building the same way you would build a road, so it's got rebar and stuff in there, and then you lift it up and you brace it up with these big jacks and poles and stuff, and you raise up the next side and the next side and the next side, and then you strap it all together, right? And then you put a roof over it, and now you've built a building, a huge building, a freestanding building that's cavernous on the inside, and it goes in record time. These buildings aren't like constructed for habitation, right? They're warehouses. They're meant to hold stuff, not to hold people, and they're not necessarily like insulated or safe in the way that you would think that, like, say, an apartment building or a dormitory or anything like that would need to be. They are specifically designed to mostly house no people. There's a few occupied spaces where the offices are going to be, and then the vast cavernous area, we're talking football field size spaces, several football field size spaces, is just stacked full of boxes and stuff.
Sometimes, as both of us went on the show, people were considered stuff.
That's right. We're getting there. So you've seen them, right? If you drive up and down 95, you see them like on the edge, and you see like these big loading docks. They've got 100 different bay doors, and there's trucks that back up to them. These are fulfillment centers, and they're kind of like a critical part of the economy these days.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Because we all are operating on a delivery system. People aren't going to stores, but even if they are going to stores, a lot of material moves in and out of these kind of facilities, and they've got conveyor systems and computerized robots that go and pluck stuff off of the bins, and they put them in the other bins, and then they put them in the boxes, and it's all like
a lot of your next day stuff is done through these things.
It's in these things already,
and ready to go.
And like so ready to go that they know exactly where to put it and in what warehouse to make it as close to the people who are likely to want to purchase it for that day's delivery.
Data is strong.
Crazy. The data is incredible.
It's incredible, yeah.
So do you think it's just totally fine, right, that then the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, is buying up dozens and dozens of these things? What could they possibly want to do with it?
They have good use for it.
So, some of the people around have expressed some concerns.
This is always the one that gets everybody, right?
And the number one, of course, is that having DHS sites in a neighborhood or in an area might diminish the property value. We're concerned about our property value, not the property in the warehouse.
I mean, bringing all these brown people in.
That's right. It's going to, we haven't got to that yet. There's something in the warehouses. We don't know what's going to go in the warehouses. They haven't said what's going to go into the warehouses. They're just buying them up. People have also said that this could harm local businesses and strain sewer and water systems. I mean, stuff doesn't need sewers and water. I mean, boxes don't shit.
Strain businesses is a work release.
Yeah. It sounds fine. This is fine. Nevertheless, the Trump administration is pressing forward in pursuit of its goal to expand its detention. I thought these are warehouses.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Detention footprint to at least 100,000 beds. That means it can hold 100,000 people, which will help it arrest, detain, and deport more people. A DHS official with knowledge of the plans to buy and that they have actually bought all these warehouses, speaking anonymously to share internal information, said that the expansion would allow the agency to avoid overcrowding. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has already faced complaints of crowded and unsafe conditions and all this kind of stuff. Of the roughly 20 warehouses being eyed for purchase or having been purchased, at least 8 have already been bought in states including Maryland, Georgia, Texas, and Pennsylvania, according to internal documents obtained by the New York Times. Some purchases collapsed in recent weeks in other areas as potential sellers canceled some of the sales after they got a little backlash. The warehouses will be renovated to meet detention standards and provide food, medical, and laundry services, according to ICE. Around 68,000 people are currently in detention. According to ICE's latest data, the new detention model is expected to allow ICE to expand its capacity to 92,000 people by the end of November. According to a document from ICE describing the plans that was released last week by the governor of New Hampshire, Kelly Ayotte, who had requested that information from the agency. Hey, what are you guys doing with these warehouses? It would also greatly expand the number of permanent facilities owned and used exclusively by ICE. Now, you know, when I was saying just a few minutes ago about having a paramilitary force that's loyal to Trump and not the government and operates outside the basic confines of a system that we, you know, I mean, how could they possibly manage all this? It'd be really tough unless they could, I don't know, warehouse hundreds of thousands of people who dissent or complain or might try to vote in a place.
Those ICE officers, from the pictures I saw in Minneapolis, they would have been nothing for the crowds that were out there. Now, if you want to bring your army in to do this, fine, there it is. But those crowds, like, I watch people run. I mean, now granted, 2 people were killed, 2 American citizens were killed, but I also watched American citizens run these people out of certain neighborhoods.
If
that was happening,
marchers are willing to commit to the physical act, then yes.
I at least in Minneapolis, I can't speak for the rest of the country, but there was something there. Clearly.
Minnesotans are tougher than many kinds of people.
Yeah.
If you've ever been in Minnesota in not August, which is the only month where it's like survivable, it is, those people are vastly tougher than you or I or anybody else.
And they seem also to attract the toughest immigrant populations as well, too. Like, it seems like whoever goes there are people from like places that were like, again, very difficult for people to grow up in. Like, they have just the collection of people that there are just strong ass people. I think there's a lot that can be learned for the rest of the country. I think there was a playbook that was there for that. And that is my thing, because I'm still going to bet on the American people.
Have you survived the genocide? Come to Minnesota.
Right. Exactly. Right. I mean,
if you've survived being carpet bombed in Laos, or
right,
ethnically cleansed in East Africa, or
Native
run
Americans
out of your Viking villages in Sweden, we've got a spot for you.
Native Americans still going strong up there too.
Yeah.
Hey, look, talk about people being genocide,
harvesting their wild rice from the lakes, like that. That's a different kind of tough. I'm telling you that now.
Those folks, to your point, they're a different type.
They are not the same. Yeah. I mean that very sincerely, having known and loved lots of people from Minnesota. I'm not sure I know that, like, technically they have the same kind of DNA as like us, but I think it has an extra like freeze gene. You know how like,
right,
like their blood can handle temperatures. They're just, it got up to 27 today. I took off my jacket. That is not a sentence. It should never be a sentence.
No. Keep it
okay. So yeah, ICE is building giant detention centers all across the country. And make no mistake, they can use them for things other than immigrants. If you think that these are not going to be usable for other purposes, you're sadly mistaken, and you're going to end up in one. That's what's going to happen. You call me an alarmist and you say all these things, and I keep saying I'm not getting on the goddamn train. But here now they are building literal warehouses for people, camps, I think is the word that the last guys used.
It's a concentration camp. I mean,
and they are concentrating them in certain places. And,
yeah,
they've already got conveyor systems and stuff in a lot of them. It wouldn't be a stretch to repurpose some of that into something that would make, Goebbels blush.
And I'm sure Jeff Bezos will lend his operational.
Be happy to
genius
support that.
to
He's
support
got a
that.
robot already designed specifically to clean the ashes out. And, you know, Elon's chomping at the bit for that. Apparently all his Afrikaner buddies that came over here are real pissed off that they're like not living as glamorous a life as they were living over there.
Welcome to America.
They're like, oh, well, we don't, you know, we're like struggling to find housing and stuff.
Oh,
Back
and
home, we
me
had
too.
5-bedroom plantation houses. Hey,
Hey.
you know.
Choices.
So just, you know, I want to emphasize that the name of the segment is I'm sure this is fine. I'm sure this is fine. What else could it be? It's certainly not like dangerous or a reason for people to be very concerned and watching this extremely carefully. This is fine. This is a thing that all of normal Western democracies do, is they build large detention facilities in places all over the country, you know, for people. You know, France has detention facilities everywhere.
13th Amendment makes it legal.
If they say you're a criminal, and
Yeah.
they pretend they have a trial, and if they don't need a judicial warrant because they decide they don't want one.
Hey, y'all, guess what? This has been done before. You know, mass incarceration. Like, we did this before. Just, you know, for whatever reason that they're coming at. I mean, I guess David, black folks are still getting attacked, but I guess now, like, you know, it's there's a different method they want to go about this with. Like, I mean, there's been a shrinkage in the amount of people detained, right, for a variety of changes in the law, from Obama's laws and then the Obama law that Trump ended up pushing through with Mitch McConnell. That was really so there's been a decrease there, but no, we're gonna blow up somewhere else, like in a completely drastic fashion. And then clearly they'll keep locking up black folks again too. So yeah.
You know, if you thought that a limitation for their totalitarian takeover of the United States was an infrastructure problem, because there is a very large infrastructure component to running a totalitarian state.
Infrastructure week now.
It is finally infrastructure week, and you are watching them do it in real time, and it doesn't appear that people are stopping them. Now, to be clear, for everybody who's interested, slab side buildings are easy to construct. They're also pretty easy to take down. So in case you're interested in that, you should go watch how they put them up. Maybe study that a little.
Where are the states again? You said Pennsylvania, Maryland,
Georgia, Texas, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this will be
this
is where they put all the this is where they'll put all the people trying to vote.
That's right. You're starting to catch on.
No, I'm feeding you. Some.
You're starting to catch on. All right. And then our last segment tonight, part of that, I'm sure everything here is fine, is that there were, there's talks between the United States and Iran. You might really be, I'm going to forgive a lot of people who might be confused as to, like, why? What is the crisis? You know, like, did something happen? Is something imminently happening? What is the reason for moving all of the Navy into the Persian Gulf? Like, why is this happening now? It's not like, you know, in the run up to the first Iraq war, right? Iraq invaded Kuwait. And so then everybody was like, okay, we understand this is a catalyst for action. There is one country's invaded another country. We're going to try to talk them into leaving, but if they don't leave, we're going to send a bunch of military stuff over there, and we're going to tell them very pointedly they need to leave, or we're going to make them leave. And then we did. We made them leave, right? And like, okay, Russia invaded Ukraine, and everybody was like, hey, and then they still did. And so like they didn't do anything about it. But like Iran has looked like it's just kind of like sitting here funding proxy groups and trying their best to avoid getting bombed by the Israelis. They didn't look like they were up to anything. And then you might be like, well, what's this problem with the nuclear stuff, right? I thought we solved that. Didn't we have a deal? Isn't there a thing about that? And you might also be forgiven for saying, how come the only country that has ever dropped nuclear bombs gets to tell other countries whether they can or can't have nuclear bombs? And then you shut up. Yeah, exactly. We're not having that conversation, right? But you're like, wait, do they have a bomb? Are they about to have a bomb? Like what Bibi said, they are about to have a bomb like in 2 weeks for the last 20 years. Like, wow, what's happening here? Here's what's happening. There was an Iran deal, and it was working. And the Iran deal was extraordinary because it involved China and Russia playing ball with the deal.
Right.
Which you couldn't imagine such a thing existing now. And it basically said, Iran better behave their damn selves. We're going to put monitors in there, people, not just like technology, but people and technology. And if they don't comply and don't cease their enrichment for nefarious reasons, a bunch of bad stuff is going to happen. And like economy crippling stuff is going to happen. And you might have thought, oh, well, then they'll just go to Russia and China and like get around the sanctions. But like Russia and China were like, we don't really want a nuclear armed Iran either. So we're not going to like give them anything either. We're going to go along with it. As a matter of fact, we don't trust, the Americans were like, well, we don't trust you, China and Russia. We think that you're going to just lie. And China and Russia were like, tell you what, we'll let you, America, decide when we, Russia, have to put sanctions on Iran. We're going to call it a snapback provision, right?
Yep.
These sanctions are going to run through the United States financial system. And the second Iran doesn't behave their damn selves, you Americans can flip a switch and fuck up our economy too. Well, that's extraordinary. All right, cool. Yeah, that's a great deal. We will take that deal. And the Iranians were like, we would like to not get bombed. We will also take that deal. And the Israelis were pissed off because they wanted to bomb Iran.
Right.
And everybody was like, wow, that was fairly deft. That was impressive. It took a lot of talks. Right? They went over deadlines several times, but they kept talking, and they were in Vienna of all places.
True diplomacy.
It was a real shining example of the world coming together to diplomatically solve a problem that had existed for like 30 years. But there was a small problem with that here in the United States. And it was that a black guy was president when it happened.
Yep.
And that bothers like a good third of the country. They're like, well, it can't be a good deal if Obama did it. I don't trust black pilots. I certainly don't trust them to make a deal with the Iranians.
I'm sure some people wish Osama bin Laden was still alive.
Right. Because, they didn't like that a black guy got to kill him. And so Trump gets into office and he looks at this deal and he goes, is this working? And everybody's like, yeah, it's working. And he's like, but I want to bomb Iran. And they're like, well, the deal says you don't bomb Iran. You just like fuck their economy if they don't behave. And he goes, well, are they behaving? And they go, yeah, they're following the deal. And he goes, well, but I want to bomb Iran. And they're like, again, you can't. That's the deal. And he's like, what fucking tan suit wearing black guy made this deal? And they're like, oh, that was Obama. And he's like, that Kenyan guy, fuck it. And he tears the thing up. And, the French and the Germans and the Brits and even the Russians and the Chinese are like, what the fuck did you just do? We had a deal. This whole thing worked. We were fine. Iran was not our problem anymore. We had solved this. This was done. We had checked this off. And Trump was like, no. I want to uncheck this off because I want to create chaos because maybe I can get some money or something. We are now fast forward to now. Absent that deal, Iran says, I guess if there's no deal, we're going to like full speed ahead on the nuclear everything because we are pretty sure somebody's going to bomb us. And our only way to deter that is to threaten to blow them to fucking kingdom come.
Right.
Where they get 72 virgins or whatever they think. And so they did. They started to accelerate. And Trump and the Israelis were like, oh no, we got to blow them up. And now these talks that we're talking about now are essentially trying to recreate the deal that Obama already had that Trump tore up. And he's doing it under threat of invasion, regime change, and carpet bombing the entire country. I'm not sure what he thinks he's going to do. But he's moved 2 aircraft carriers into position. He's moved a whole bunch of ships over there. There's God knows how many submarines that you can't just see from a satellite, right? They've moved a whole bunch of aircraft over there. And he's telling the Iranians, you better play ball or else. And it's the question of what does play ball mean? Because in their mind, any deal they make with the Americans is not worth the paper that it's written on. Because
that goes for the whole globe at this point.
That's right. The Americans have demonstrated, Trump has demonstrated on our behalf that we cannot be trusted to keep a deal that we make. And so now we're stuck where the president who ran on a campaign of no more endless wars is fast tracking us towards an inescapable military conflict with an adversary who has been wanting this conflict since their republic was created in 1979. They've been trying to provoke the Americans to bomb them since then. And they're going to get their wish. And they've got a bunch of ballistic missiles. And they're going to shoot at a bunch of our allies. And they're going to hit some stuff. And then those guys are going to shoot back. And then we're going to be in a big endless war that all of you Trump voters are going to get conscripted to go fight in that you voted for. I don't know how to make that into a joke. We did the jokes in the first half of the show, so like I don't know what the funny part of that is. But that's where we are. Did I more or less explain that right?
No, that's it. I don't know. I mean, it's clear that is this not just another Epstein diversion?
Oh, it's very much that. Everything is also that.
Right?
Everything can be 2 things at once, right?
Right.
So like getting in the middle of Ukraine and Russia and giving them a deadline, that's an Epstein diversion. Bombing Venezuela and kidnapping their president, Epstein diversion. Iran, Epstein diversion. Pam Bondi, Epstein diversion. You know, everything is even the mass deportation is to some extent about keeping our attention focused on other things. So, you know, but we aren't stupid either, right? We can do 2 things at once. We can do several things at once. Well, I have multiple tabs open on my browser right now.
We didn't talk Epstein, though.
Oh, we did. We talked about how touching the curling stone is called the Epstein files.
Oh, God, I guess that's true, yeah.
And the obviously big story regarding that today is that, you know, 8th in line to your throne got arrested today.
How did they one up America on these type of things during the 250? Like, that's shameful that the old monarchy is getting like They're enforcing laws.
better at constitutional democracy than us. They don't even have an actual constitution.
Yeah, there's no constitution.
They just go off of their gut. They're like, the British Supreme Court is like, that feels okay. That's their constitution. We have a written one that says you can't take emoluments. And like, nobody's enforcing that at all. Or any of the other parts. What Fourth Amendment? The fourth and the second are about to have a big conflict.
Yeah. Oh God. I haven't been on this show, and I've been on the show for a while where I've thought of this, and I keep screaming it from every hilltop I go on. There is a winning position right now on AI regulation. This shit is coming to take your jobs, and running on they're trying to take your guns. I don't want to take your guns. I just want you to lock your guns up. I'll give you a tax credit for a safe. I swear I could get swaths of people. I could bring together people who've never taught. I swear I could, and I know this for a fact.
Whichever one wins the primary between Crockett and Tallarico, that's one of their arguments for sure. Has to be. Yeah.
I'll give you $1,000 to go buy, and that's more than the normal safe.
No, gun safes are expensive.
They're expensive, but $1,000. I mean, you can get a decent one probably for $600. And now, granted, depending on how many guns you have is a different story, right?
I will give you, if Trump's out here offering to give people 1776 checks, I will give you 1776 check towards a gun safe.
Yeah.
And if you can find a gun safe for less than that,
you keep the rest.
You can keep the difference or use it to buy another gun to put in the safe. I don't care.
I'm here. I want you to have your guns.
I want you to have guns. I just want you to lock them up. Winning position.
I swear I'm almost like, I want to go move somewhere else. And I feel like I can win on this immediately. Like, yeah.
I highly encourage you to run for something in Texas. That's going to go extremely well.
Yo, don't let them come in here and poison our water with this AI shit. Like, and guess what? It's like, we'll get AI. We'll get to AI when we get there, guys. It doesn't, like, we'll get there. But in a way, like, we have an opportunity to control this, and we'll control it, and we'll make sure it works for us.
Hey, rural America, do you have easy access to water? No? Well, guess who's going to make it harder? The robots. The robots are coming for your water.
And they're trying to take your guns.
Farmland. And they're trying to take your guns. And Trump wants to take your guns.
Specifically. He doesn't believe
take your guns.
He doesn't believe in the Second Amendment.
It's right. He wants to take your guns. He wants to come on your property and take your shit. He wants to quarter soldiers in your
house. Yeah.
He's doing it now in several cities. I mean,
I think
Davy Crockett himself would be up in arms.
Right. Somebody make me a strategist on their campaign. Chief of staff. I'm telling you, we have a winning position. We hit all the gun ranges. We're hitting every gun range. All right. We're hitting every gun range. Yeah. And we'll win. We'll win. I swear. I guarantee it. Wait, you're gonna give me money just to go buy a safe?
Tez for Prez.
Can't. No, that's illegal.
That's illegal. You weren't born in the States.
I wasn't born in the States.
Wait, but you were born a natural U.S. citizen. One of your parents is a U.S. citizen, aren't they?
No, neither.
Neither. Oh, well then, yeah, no, you're fucked.
I'm fucked.
I was also not born in the States, so
right.
I don't know if I can run. I'm gonna try just to see. Maybe it'll grant DC.
I'm not fucked. You guys are fucked.
Right. You can leave.
Yeah. I can. Bye-bye.
Goddamn monarchist. You and Prince Andrew can go hang out over there.
Oh, no. Don't do that. How dare you?
Fergie was like, I'm fucking out of here, man. She knew.
Yo, you see Prince Charles was like, the law must do what the law does.
He didn't even refer to him by name. That's his brother. Like, I love my brother. I mean, yeah, but if he fucked up like that, yeah, man, you gotta go.
Yeah, sorry.
Nah, yeah,
Excommunicado.
yeah, you gone. All right, you hear that music? That means we come to the end of the show. We want to say thank you to our radio partners, SoundCloud, MySpace, and Napster. Because, you know, we've been at this for a long time. Thanks to NOTN for keeping us on for another week, maybe. Don't know. Thanks to our home on the interwebs, coplaymedia.com. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Beltway and Rip Radio for making us sound as smooth as Marco Rubio kissing Viktor Orban. All right, which he did that. That's true. That's a thing. All right, so where can everybody get you on the socials now that you're abandoning all of it?
No, I'm not abandoning all. You can find me on Blue Sky, DC Cortez.
All right, and you can find me and the show on the Twitter at ChipChatRR. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram at RipChipChat. And you can find me on the Blue Sky at Chef Chip, my old Twitter handle, in case you missed me. And you can, of course, find us every Thursday night here on Beltway Radio at 9:30. Most Thursday nights, let's just say. We've got guests lining up for the spring season. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to get to talk baseball. We're going to get to talk cooking. We're going to get to talk all kinds of stuff. There's a new Ruby Renee book out.
There is.
You should get it. It features radio co-hosts. Feel like we may have had some sort of inspirational credit on that. So go check that out. Ruby Renee always gets her way. Ashley and Mom, come back on the show, please. We really want to talk to you and see if we get credit for your amazing books. All right. That's the show. I'm Chip. That's Tez. Brian somewhere in the background. You've been listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweep.
What he be trying? The show is like a custom feathered avian that knows words. How can we stay late when our guest is Illy Bird? In conclusion, the message is to go out and serve folks, whether that's through art, music, or if you just tell jokes. Seek to medicate your ears, hope you eradicate your fears. Thanks for sticking with us through all these years.